very good afternoon to all of you. I am Professor Naval Kishore from School of Management Studies, IGNOU, New Delhi. About forms of business organization, you all are very much aware now. You have already studied about sole trading, partnership, features, classification of partner, merits, and limitation of partnership. Today, I am going to discuss about partnership deed, limited liability partner. Let us start today about partnership deed. See, when the written agreement among the partners are duly stamped and get registered, it becomes partnership deed. Now, the partnership business is carried out based on or in accordance of the partnership deed. And broad areas of the partnership deed are: first, name of the firm, whatever name you have selected to be kept for the partnership business, you write that name clearly. Second is nature of the business to be carried out. You all are aware that whenever you are entering into partnership, you decide that, okay, this sort of business would be carried out. You are going to have a wholesale business, you are going to have the retail business, you are going to have the garments business, whatever business, that nature of the business has to be spelled out. Next is names of the partners. How many partners would be there? What are the names of those partners? All those names are to be written in the partnership deed. Next is the town and the place where business will be carried out. That means obviously where you are going to carry on the business. So the name of the place, name of the town, those things are required to be mentioned in the partnership deed. Next is the amount of capital to be contributed by each partner. As you all know that once you contribute capital to the business, obviously profit or loss will be divided based on your proportion of the capital as per agreement of the partnership. So those things are to be specified. Next is the profit and loss sharing ratio of each partner. Obviously, when all partners are running the business, you need to give the share of those partners in the business. Therefore, you need to written there that how much profit and loss would be shared and in what ratio that will be shared among the partners. Next is loans and advances by partners and the interest payable on them. Sometimes partners may need loan from the partnership business. Whenever you as a partner need a loan, and if that loan is granted to you, what would be the interest on that loan, etc., requires to be mentioned in the partnership deed. Next is the amount of drawings by each partner and the rate of interest allowed thereon. Sometimes the partner may like to draw some money from the business. So how much they can draw the money from the business and what would be the rate of interest if any they draw the amount from the business. Next is the rate of interest on capital. Obviously, the capital is being provided by the partners in the partnership business. So therefore, what would be the rate of interest on those capital that requires to be mentioned. Next is duties, powers and obligations of the partner. Obviously, you all must be knowing that every partner has some duty, has some functions, have some commitment in the partnership. So those things, power, duty, etc. requires to be mentioned there. Next is remuneration, if any, payable to the active partner. Obviously, in the partnership firm, some of the partners, they are very active in that business. All the business formalities are carried out by that particular partner. So in that case, if some partner is very active, obviously, if some remuneration is being provided to him or her, that remuneration requires to be mentioned in the partnership deed. Next is maintenance of accounts and arrangement for audit. In a partnership business also, the accounts are being maintained properly by some of the partner and audit is being carried out internally or externally. Whatever means are being specified in that partnership did, that required to be mentioned here. Next is settlement in the case of dissolution of partnership. When partnership gets dissolved, in that case, what should be the settlement mechanism? Who would get how much profit or loss or any debts, etc., etc. Those things are required to be mentioned in the partnership deed. Next is the methods of evaluation of goodwill on admission or death or retirement of a partner. As you all are aware that whenever there is an entry of the new partner in the partnership business, or if there is a death of the partner or any partner gets retired, in that case, what should be methods of the evaluation of the goodwill for the remaining partner for the partnership business? That requires to be clear-cut mentioned in the partnership deed. The method of revaluation of assets and liabilities on admission or death or retirement of a partner. See, whenever there is a death, whenever the partner gets retired, whenever new partner is being admitted in the partnership business, in that case, how you are going to revalue the assets and liabilities of the partnership business, that requires to be spelled out in the partnership deed. In addition to all those things, if any areas partners wants to be included in the partnership deed, they may include in the partnership deed. Because as you all know that partnership act defines certain rights and duties of a partner. So if it is not mentioned there, and if the provisions of the act come into operation only when there is no agreement amongst the partners. Now you all must be knowing about the registration of the partner. Under the Partnership Act, it is not compulsory to register the firm, but there are certain limitations for an unregistered firm. Therefore, it is always advisable to get the partnership business registered. Now let us come to limited liability partnership. As you must be knowing also that limited liability partnership concept came under the Act of Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. And the Act enables formation of partnership with liability of partners being kept limited like that of shareholders as in case of company. It is clear, the definition clearly says that the liability is limited here. Therefore, the public has been given a choice to form a partnership either under the partnership law, that is Partnership Act 1932, or under LLP Act 2008. The major features of the limited liability partnership are: first is regulating act. As I told you that the LLP is regulated by the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. The next feature is minimum and maximum number of members. As far as minimum member is concerned, the minimum member of partners required are 2, and there is no limit to maximum number of partners under limited liability partnership. Next is separate legal entity. As you must be aware that in the limited liability partnership, there is a legal entity because it is formed by certain act. Once it is formed by certain act, it has got some legal validity. Therefore, it has a separate legal entity. Next is governance structure. The governance structure is being governed by contractual agreement between the partners. So in the beginning itself, the partner, they just arrive at certain agreement and the business is being bound by those agreements. Next is perpetual existence. The limited liability partnership has got the feature of perpetual existence. That means that even if the partner is out of the business, if the partner dies, if the partner gets retired, the business continues to operate. This is called perpetual existence of limited liability partnership. Next is designated partners. As far as designated partners is concerned, limited liability partnership, there has to be at least 2 designated partners and they are designated for the purpose of limited liability partnership. Next is limited liability. As the name suggests, limited liability partnership, the liability of the partner is limited here. It won't go beyond the specified in the business. Next is audit. If the capital contribution does not exceed rupees 25 lakhs or if the annual turnover does not exceed rupees 40 lakhs, audit is not compulsory for limited liability partnership. Next is meeting. In limited liability partnership, the annual meeting of the partner is not mandatory. Next is about merits of limited liability partnership. Now you must have understood that the formation of limited liability partnership is very simple. There is a separate legal entity of the limited liability partnership business. Limited liability partnership is known by its own name and not by the name of its partners because it has a separate entity, therefore it has a separate name as well. Perpetual succession, that means the limited liability partnerships continues even if there is a discontinuation of some of the partner out of the business. Next is flexibility. It is more flexible in the sense that whatever the agreement indicates, based on that agreement, the partners, that is under the limited liability partnership, they take the decision to run the business. Next is easy to transfer the ownership. Because as name suggests, it is a limited liability partnership, therefore the economic rights shall be transferable under the limited liability partnership. Next is attract finance. Because the number of the partners are more, as you all know that minimum is 2 and there is no maximum number of the partners, therefore there is a probability that the partnership firm may attract more finance. As far as limitations are concerned, limited liability partner cannot raise funds from the public. Because when you form if the business is very large, you form the company form of organization where you are entitled to get funds from the public. Next is any act of a partner without the consent of others may bind the limited liability partnership. That means here you need to consent of your other partners for the activities or for the new activities or whatever business activities are. In order to carry those activities, you need to consent of your partner. Under some cases, liability may extend to personal assets. Some of the cases, the liability may be beyond that, whatever is being stipulated there, so it may go up to the personal assets also. There is no separation of management from owners. Obviously, the partners are the owners of the business, so therefore, the same partner, they run the business, therefore, they manage the business also, and they are the owners of that business also. So these are the limitations of the limited liability partnership. So after completing the partnership, let us come to the other topic, and that is joint Hindu family firm. Joint Hindu family firms, as you may be aware also, the important features of the joint Hindu firm are: the business is managed by the senior member of the family, and the senior member is called Karta of joint Hindu family firm. The other partners do not participate in the management of the joint Hindu family firm. That means it is the Karta who carries out the business of the joint Hindu family firm. Next is, the other members cannot question the authority of the Karta. If they want, they can propose or they can dissolve the joint Hindu family firm with the consent, with the mutual agreement. Next, Karta has the power to borrow funds for the business. Therefore, the liability of the Karta is unlimited in the joint Hindu family firm, whereas the other co-partners are liable only to the extent of their share in the business. So the co-partners, that is other members of the joint Hindu family firm, their liabilities are limited liabilities to the extent of their share in the business, but the liability of the Karta is unlimited in the joint Hindu family firm. Next is, if the Karta has misappropriated the funds of the business, he has to compensate the other co-partners to the extent of their shares in the joint property. As you know that the other member, that is co-partners, they have their share in the joint property. Therefore, if the Karta has done some misappropriation in the funds of the business, the Karta has to compensate those co-partners to the extent of their share in the joint property. Next is, the death of any member of the family does not dissolve the business or the family. If there is a death of any co-partners, any members of joint Hindu family firm, the family firm would not be dissolved. Next is, through mutual agreement, the joint Hindu family can be dissolved. If there is a mutual consensus, if there is a mutual agreement among the members, mutually they may dissolve the joint Hindu family firm. So you have understood about partnership deed, limited liability partner, as well as joint Hindu family firm.